OK, next question is from Faye Jones. Where's Faye?
Hi.
Brilliant.
Hi, Ed. The Home Office estimates that there are about 2.3 million adults in the UK who enjoy cannabis, in the same way that you say that you've enjoyed alcohol quite recently. It's been reported. Directly, alcohol...
What do you know that I don't?
Directly, alcohol causes thousands of deaths every year. The figure for last year was about 8,400, whilst cannabis causes none at all. Do you not think that it's about time that we had an evidence-based policy of reform for your drug policy?
Okay.
How do you defend the Labour policy?
I mean, I'm not going to go with you on cannabis, and let me try and explain why. Look, we know that there are harmful effects.
For some people, cannabis doesn't cause psychosis, so please don't tell me that it causes psychosis. There are studies where if you take a community who have a higher incidence of cannabis use and a community where they have a low incidence of cannabis use, there is no change in the incidence of psychosis and schizophrenia. What it might do is bring it out possibly in people who are already predisposed for it. And a regulated system would prevent it falling into those people's hands, and it would also help them avoid the strains of cannabis that would be bad for them.
What's your name, sir?
Faye.
Faye. Look, Faye, I don't agree with you. I totally respect your point of view. I don't agree with you. Why do I say this? Because I think the signal that government sends is important. And if government sends a signal that it says...
You've had your say. Shut up now.
And I think, I sort of totally respect your point of view. If government sends a signal, though, that cannabis use is somehow OK, and we know there's harder forms of cannabis and softer forms of cannabis, I think it's sending the wrong signal. And you say it brings it out in people who are predisposed to it, but that doesn't sort of, and I know you're not saying this, that doesn't make it OK. That makes it, very worrying. So, look, as I say, I respect your point of view, but I think it's the wrong signal.
So in a few years' time, when your children are teenagers and you find a bag of cannabis in one of their bedroom, will you be going to a doctor or will you be going to the police?
Well, I'll be going to neither, but
So cannabis doesn't actually necessarily mean that people should be punished by law, then?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I'd be discouraging them from using it. I would definitely be discouraging them from using it. Absolutely, I would.
So you take your child to the police?
OK, we'll take someone else. Yeah, gentlemen.
I'd discourage them from using it.
You didn't answer this lady's question. She said, would you take him to the doctors or the police?
Look, I hope I'd stop it happening in the first place. That's my answer.
You haven't answered the question.
Over the last, I think it was yesterday, there was a loophole within the drug policy within Ireland which made meth, ket, and I think ecstasy legal. How are you going to restrict these loopholes within drug policy? Otherwise, it'll be, well.
This is a loophole in relation to where, sorry? Did you say
It was in Ireland.
Yeah.
Right, well, I mean, look, what's happening in Ireland is obviously not my jurisdiction, but I mean, look, obviously we need to deal with, if there are loopholes in our law, we obviously have to deal with them.
OK, yeah, gentlemen,